You hid $300,000. I used it to buy a new house, thank you very much. One day, my Mel confessed she had bought a house without telling me. Furious, I told my husband, "Just let mom do what she wants. Forget the $300K, he said, siding with my Mel. I couldn't forgive him for this. I vowed to get revenge on both of them. My name is Grace. 5 years ago, I married Mark, who worked at this same food company as me. We both had busy jobs, so it was hard to find time for each other. Even so, we didn't have any problems and managed to get along well. However, I didn't get along with my Mel. It all started when we visited her house to announce our engagement. When you marry Mark, you'll quit your job and support him at home, right? I intend to continue this job even after marriage. Mark has agreed that I can keep working. But she said, normally, once you're married, the wife should stay home and support the family. When I married my late husband, I quit my job and became a homemaker. I thought it was an outdated notion that a wife should stop working after marriage, but I couldn't say that to her face, so I just smiled awkwardly. Is Mark really okay with you working? He comes home tired every day, and if you're not there, it adds to his burden. That's your opinion, Mom. I'm fine with it. Let Grace do what she wants. Mark backed me up, and we left his mother's house without further issues. Thanks for standing up for me. I might have heard more complaints if you hadn't. Since Dad died, Mom's been alone raising me, so she's just worried. Don't worry about it. Mark was always considerate and supportive. I felt lucky to be married to such a wonderful person. On our way back to our apartment, I felt a quiet happiness. We had been living happily for 5 years when one day, Mark asked if his mom could move in with us. Hey, since we both work and are often out, how about Mom moving in with us in this apartment? Honestly, I'd rather not. Okay, sorry for bringing it up. Forget I said anything. It was too sudden for me to agree. But Mark didn't push it, so I was relieved. A week after Mark suggested living with his mom, I had a busy day at work and got home around 9 p.m. I'm exhausted. Time to make dinner. As I talked to myself at the door, I noticed it was already unlocked. Mark must have come home early today. He usually tells me when he's on his way, but maybe he forgot. I didn't think much of it and entered the house. Yeah, I'm home. Oh, you finally got back. You're here. Where's Mark? Mark isn't home yet. He gave me a spare key, so I let myself in. What does she mean? He gave her a spare key. He never mentioned that to me. I couldn't hide my shock at seeing my Mel suddenly appear in front of me, and I stood there stunned. Don't just stand there. Can you make dinner? I've been waiting for you to get home. What? You haven't had dinner yet? No, I haven't. She just let herself into our house and expects me to make dinner. How bold. But I couldn't just send her away. Okay. I'll make something simple. Is that all right? Wait, are we running out of groceries? Did I use that much? It seemed like there was less food in the fridge than yesterday. Something simple is fine, just hurry up. I'm starving. Please wait a moment. I'll make it right away. I quickly prepared dinner and served it to my Mel. Thank you. As soon as she tasted the soup I made, she said, "This is awful." What? Did she really just say that? She clearly said my soup was awful. I said it's awful. Didn't you hear me? As I thought, I didn't mishear her words. Because you're always working, you can't make decent meals. Quit your job and focus on the household. But Mark says he likes the food I make. That was just a polite lie. Can't you tell? As expected, my Mel didn't like that I had continued working after getting married. She spent the next hour making snide remarks at me. I'll be coming over often, so make sure you take care of the house. Having vented her frustrations, my Mel left my house in a seemingly good mood. 30 minutes later, my husband came home. Hey. Did you give your mom a spare key? Yeah, I did. She showed up out of nowhere today. She even ate dinner and complained it was awful. Well, it's no big deal. Sometimes that happens. What kind of response is that? She showed up unannounced and insulted my cooking. And you want me to just tolerate it? This all started because you gave her a spare key. When I said that, my husband got angry and snapped back. You should have agreed to live with my mom. I'm tired, I'm going to bed. I don't need dinner. Is he blaming me? Didn't you say you would back me up back then? Hearing this from my husband, whom I thought was on my side, was heartbreaking. The next day and the day after that, it was the same thing. The room is messy, and you don't clean properly, do you? Look at these wrinkled clothes, so sloppy. Every day, my Mill would come over and criticize me before leaving. I might have been able to endure just that, but a week after she started hanging around our house, I noticed something strange. Wait, the groceries are disappearing again, and the detergent I had stocked up on is gone too. Our apartment and my mother-in-law's house were within a 10-minute walk, and it was clear that groceries and household items were vanishing daily. I didn't want to suspect her, but it had to be my Mill sneaking in and taking things. You haven't been taking our groceries and household items, have you? One day when she visited, I decided to confront her. I hoped it was just my imagination. But, oh, so you already noticed, she readily admitted to taking them. You can't just take things without permission. These are our supplies and food. It's my son's house, isn't it? It's just a little bit, and you're never home anyway. It's wasteful to let the food go bad. How could she say that without a hint of guilt? I could understand that it was her son's house, but no. By the way, I noticed you have $300,000 in savings. I used that money to buy a new house. What? What do you mean? Don't play dumb. I saw your bank statements. You had quite a lot saved up. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She used my $300,000 savings to buy a house, without anyone's permission. But you can't withdraw money with just the bank statement, right? How do you know the PIN? You had a note with the PIN ticked near the bank statements, remember? Damn it. I never thought anyone would look at my bank statements. I had put the note there so I wouldn't forget my PIN. I had wanted a better house. This was perfect timing. With a loud laugh, my Mill left my house. This was unforgivable. Using someone else's money without permission. I told my husband that his mother had used my money to buy a house, but he said, let her do what she wants. Forget about the $300,000, as if it didn't matter. How could he be so indifferent about such a large sum of money? This family was insane. At that moment, I had enough of my husband. I couldn't tolerate any more of their nonsense. I decided to get back at them. The next day, I invited my Mill to my house to confirm if she really bought the house. To gather solid evidence, I quietly turned on my phone's voice recorder before talking to her. Yesterday, you said you used my $300,000 to buy a new house. Is that true? Yes, it's true. I paid the down payment, and construction has already started. Since I already know the PIN to your account, it's as good as bought. But having the PIN alone won't help. How do you plan to withdraw the money? With a smug smile, she showed me my ATM card. How? With this ATM card, of course. So you took my ATM card without permission too. Mill, that's theft, you know. Say whatever you want. I didn't know you had saved so much money. At least it's useful for something. That's enough. You can have the ATM card. Thank you for coming today. I wanted to punch her in anger, but I held back and let her be. I had the evidence that she stole my ATM card and PIN. Enjoy your moment of joy while it lasts, my Mill. The next day, I called her to come to my house to get back what she stole. You can have the money, but it seems you need ID to withdraw the money. I'll withdraw it for you. Can you give me the ATM card? Oh, I didn't know that. I'll bring them over right now. That's what I told her on the phone, but of course, I had no intention of withdrawing the money. You can't withdraw such a large amount without ID these days. How stupid could she be? She didn't even realize that what she was doing was a crime. After getting the ATM card back, I went straight to the police. What's the matter? Is there an incident? Yes, my Mill stole my ATM card and PIN without permission and tried to buy a new house. What? You're not the one buying it. No, I'm not buying it. My ATM card and PIN were stolen. I'd like to file a report. The police took my story seriously and filed my report, realizing it was no small matter. That night, I told my husband about filing the police report. I reported to the police that your mom stole my ATM card and PIN. She might get arrested soon. What? Why would my mom get arrested? Why? Don't you understand? What your mom did is a serious crime. You didn't have to go to the police. Even if I told you, you just tell me to let her do whatever she wants. Why should I hand over a large sum of money to that old hag? How dare you call my mom an old hag? Does being an in-law give her the right to do anything? If she came to kill me, should I just die without saying anything? Give me a break. I didn't save up all this money just to give it to my mill. She's just a nasty old hag. That's enough. My husband stormed into his room. When he came back, he thrust divorce papers at me. I didn't think you'd say such things. Sign this. I was surprised he had it ready. But if that's how he felt, then fine by me. I was fed up with him too. Is this a threat? I'll sign it, so give it to me. He seemed shocked that I agreed so quickly. I showed him the divorce papers signed. There, happy now. Yay. I'll take this to the courthouse myself. He clearly didn't want to see me anymore. After our conversation, he hurriedly left the house in the middle of the night. He probably went to his mom's place. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Yes, what do you want? It was my husband. I told Mom you filed a report with the police. Yay, so what? Can you withdraw the report? What? No way. There was no way I would withdraw it. Feeling sorry now, huh? Even if you pretend to be sorry, I won't forgive you. You'll just do it again anyway. As I was thinking about that, my husband called again. What is it? I don't have anything to say, and I was about to go to sleep. I'm sorry, I didn't mean any harm. The caller wasn't my husband, but my mill. She was crying and apologizing, but did she really think that would make a difference? Crying and apologizing won't make me forgive you. And saying you didn't mean any harm. That's a bold statement. Stealing the pin was bad enough, but you even took the ATM card. But I just wanted a house. I've been living in an apartment for such a long time. You think that's a valid reason to steal someone's money? You're really a piece of work. Why should I give you money for such a ridiculous reason? I couldn't understand it at all. Then you should have asked your son. My son doesn't have any money. Yay, I know. Even though we both work, I manage the finances. So, when I saw that you had $300,000 in your account, I just couldn't resist. I see. But you understand that this isn't something that can be settled with a simple "I understand," right? Do you reflecting in prison? That money was something I worked hard to save even before marrying your son. There's no way I could forgive you for such an important sum just because you couldn't resist. I tried to hang up, but my mill wasn't done. Wait, I have a favor to ask. At this point, you still have favors to ask. That's incredibly shameless. I told you I paid the down payment, right? Yay, you mentioned it. So what? I used $100,000 I had saved for years as the down payment, and I can't stop the construction now. So, can you lend me the $300,000? I'll definitely pay it back. How crazy are you? There's no way I'll lend it to you. Someone who steals groceries and household items, as well as the ATM card, can't be trusted to repay anything. But, what am I supposed to do? I don't care. Figure it out yourself. But at my age, I can't get a loan. That's your own fault. Depending on someone else's money got you into this mess. Ask your son to take out a loan for you. The thought of my mill panicking made me laugh. I had said everything I wanted, so I thought about hanging up. Just then, my husband jumped in, trying to keep the conversation going. Please, don't abandon Mom. You owe her, right? Can't you help out a bit? I'm not asking for the whole amount. What? I don't owe her anything. She came over every day just to criticize me and never helped with any chores, even though she had a spare key. What are you talking about? At my response, my husband fell silent. He was clearly desperate. Did he think appealing to my emotions would get him some help? Well, that's that. I'm not helping at all. Good luck. Wait. We'll handle Mom's issues ourselves and won't bother you, so please don't divorce me. It's too late for that. You always prioritized your mother over me. You never stood up for me. I'm really sorry. I'll take good care of you from now on, Grace. You don't need to take care of me anymore. We'll be strangers by tomorrow. Enjoy living with your beloved mother. I said to my husband and hung up the phone. Thinking it would be a hassle if he called again, I turned off my phone and went to sleep. It seems he didn't come home that night. They must be comforting each other. The next morning, I took a day off work and submitted the divorce papers at the courthouse. Now, my husband and I are officially strangers. Naturally, I don't care what happens to that mill anymore. For the 3 days until I left the house, my husband barely spoke to me. Of course, I didn't initiate any conversation either. Once I left this house, I plan to stay at my parents' place. It's an hour's commute to work from there, but I can manage. When I was leaving the house I had lived in until now, my husband said just one thing: "I'm sorry for everything." I ignored him and walked away. We had loved each other so much before marriage, but it ended so abruptly. Surprisingly, I didn't feel sad at all. Rather, I felt relieved to be free from such a toxic family. There's no way I would ever forgive them. This happened because he ignored me and always took his mother's side. If he had seriously reprimanded his mother when she stole the ATM card and bought the house, I might have thought differently of him. Both my mill and my ex-husband underestimated me. I wasn't going to let them get away with it. Now they'll have to face the hellish mortgage payments. They better work like crazy, since this was all my mill's doing. It's their own fault. Serves them right. That's what I thought as I drove to my parents' house. A week later, I got a call from the police saying they had arrested my mill for theft. Apparently, the fact that we didn't live together was the key to her arrest. If you had been living with your mill, the case would have been more complicated. Oh, I see. I'm glad they arrested her. I thanked the police and hung up the phone. Now, my mill will have plenty of time to reflect on her crimes in jail. Just as I was thinking that, my ex-husband called. "Hello. Mom was arrested." "I know. The police just called me. I can't keep paying the mortgage alone without Mom." "So what? You better not be asking for my help again." "Ah, well. Don't call me ever again." With that, I abruptly hung up. To ensure he couldn't contact me again, I blocked his number and messages. A month later, I heard from a colleague. "Hey, did you hear? It might not be my place to say this, but Mark quit the company." My ex-husband and I worked at the same company, but I was in administration while he worked on site at supermarkets. We rarely saw each other, so this was news to me. Apparently, the rumor about my mill's theft spread through the company, and he couldn't stay there anymore. Of course, I hadn't spread the rumor myself. I have no idea what happened to him afterward, but I'm sure he's struggling with the mortgage payments now. 3 years later, I got married. I met my new husband completely outside of work, and he truly cherishes me. My new in-laws adore me, and I love them too. I feel like I might have finally found true happiness. I hope nothing like that time with my ex ever happens again.